50 million years. That's how long cacti have been on this planet. They survived ice ages, mass extinctions, and some of the most brutal dry heat any living thing has ever had to endure. I kept one underwater for 30 days. Fully, totally, 100% underwater, sealed in a container with zero air for an entire month. Day 0. And before we get to the drowning part, let me introduce the victim. This is a perfectly healthy cactus. Firm, green, well-rooted. It has absolutely no idea what's about to happen to it, and I think that's probably for the best. The setup is simple, a 5-liter glass container, fully sealable, clear on all sides, which means we're going to be able to watch everything that happens, every change, every stage of deterioration right through the glass. Now we build the stage. First, a layer of black pebbles on the bottom. Just enough to anchor everything in place, because the last thing we need is this thing floating up to the surface on day 0 and ruining the whole experiment. Then, in goes the cactus, positioned carefully, because once this is sealed, there's no fixing anything. Then I start packing more pebbles tightly around the sides, layer by layer, locking the cactus in place from all directions until there's zero movement left. And then water, all of it, until there is not a single millimeter of air left inside. And just like that, a desert plant is living at the bottom of an ocean. The water wasn't perfectly clear at first. There was this slight haze to it, like fog in the jar. For now, that's all we can do. And now we let him sleep and see what he looks like tomorrow. Good night, my friend. Day 1. The water is still a little murky. But look at this, there's already something interesting happening. There's a thin, slimy film forming around the cactus. The surface looks almost swollen, like it's under pressure even this early. And if you look carefully, it's already pulled in water. The body is slightly larger than it was yesterday. It is actively drinking itself to death and it doesn't even know it yet. And the worst part, this is only the beginning. Day 5. And something has already shifted. The water has cleared up almost completely. That foggy haze from day 1, gone. And the cactus, the slimy coating on the surface, also gone. But now there's something new. Tiny bubbles. Hundreds of them, clinging to the spines to the surface of the skin. At first glance, it almost looks decorative, like a plant covered in tiny pearls. But what's actually happening is that the cactus is off-gassing. It absorbs so much water in the first few days that it's now slowly releasing trapped air through its skin. The plant is breathing just underwater. Day 8. The bubbles are fading, the slimy coating totally gone. And honestly, the cactus looks fine, which is almost more unsettling than if it looked bad. I'm going to be completely honest with you. At this point, I was starting to wonder if I had fundamentally misunderstood cacti. What if I just accidentally invented a new way to grow them? Day 10, and this is genuinely the best this thing has ever looked. The water is cleaner than a fish tank, clearer than it was on day 1 when I first poured it in. And the cactus, look at that green. That's a cactus that has consumed more water in 10 days than it probably would in 6 months in the wild. Do you think it can actually survive all 30 days? Day 12. After over 250 hours underwater, and I'll be straight with you, nothing changed. Exactly nothing. Same clarity, same color, same cactus. And that's the thing about this experiment that I didn't fully anticipate. Most of the destruction that's happening to this plant right now, it's invisible. The cactus at this point has essentially become disconnected from its own root system. Day 14. The cacti looked great the last few days. But now he looks different. He is a bit yellowish than usual. And I think that's the cactus finally being honest with me. Something is changing, and I'm not sure yet if that's good or very, very bad. Day 16. And there it is. It's getting worse. You see that? That color shift? That yellow-green tone? It's even stronger than 2 days ago. Now there's a white patch on him too. Almost 3 weeks underwater. And the wall has started to crack. Day 18, and something happened that I've never seen before. Bubbles, rising off the cactus. Not small trapped air bubbles like we saw on day 2. These are different. These are coming from inside the plant. rising continuously like something is actively producing them. And I just want to sit with that for a second, because this thing was a living plant less than 4 weeks ago, and now it's producing gas at the bottom of a sealed jar. Day 21. The bubbles almost stopped. Just a few isolated ones making their way up. Like maybe the worst was over. It wasn't winding down, it was loading. Day 24. I walked into the room, looked at the jar, and at first glance it seemed fine. And then I opened it. The bubbles came back. The moment air hit the water, they came back harder than any point in the whole experiment. Like opening a shaken soda bottle. And the smell. I'm not going to describe it in detail because I don't want to ruin your day. What I'll say is, it was immediate, it was strong, and it left the room for a while. Day 27. I walked in, and this is what I saw. The cactus had burst, not cracked, not split, burst, like a bubble. What's left is floating at the top of the jar, completely detached from the roots, which are still sitting exactly where I placed them on day 1. This thing, that 1 month ago was rock solid, that you could tap like a piece of wood and it wouldn't give at all. This thing has the consistency of wet bread. 30 days, that's all it took. 50 million years of evolution. Surviving conditions that would kill almost anything else on Earth, and 30 days underwater was enough to reduce it to this. But now it is time to release him back to the wild. Give Cacti a like and subscribe, he deserves it.